Hi, my name is Breda Friel from Inishowen and Ulster University, and I'm here to talk about the crisis that is Mica. What we mean by a crisis is any event or series of events that overwhelms our coping mechanisms. These coping mechanisms are absolutely unique and depend on how we were reared or the experiences of adversity or difficulties we may have had in childhood. We learn how to respond to stress. When Mica occurred, it was a sudden crisis, and it became a chronic crisis. An acute sudden event is one that is over very quickly, but the Mica crisis is going on now for quite a number of years. The impact of a crisis or the trauma of a crisis affects people in what we understand as our freeze, flee, fight or faint response. This is what we learn in childhood when we learn how to cope with stress. For some, they can become what we know as hypervigilant, very agitated and busy, talking and anxious. For others, they can withdraw. They can flee or freeze or feel unable to talk. This can have an impact in couples, for example, where one member of a relationship is very agitated and needs to talk and feel reassured and anxious, and the other is quite withdrawn. There is no right or wrong way. We all have a unique way of coping with stress. It's important to pay attention to what happens, the symptoms that people experience when they are impacted by a crisis or a trauma such as Mica. This can affect people's sleep, motivation, their eating, their mood. There's a lot of emotion, and that emotion can be anger, rage, frustration, hurt, uncertainty. It's very difficult for us to tolerate uncertainty because we feel we're not in control. It's also important to bear in mind that there are losses associated with the crisis that is Mica and the trauma that it causes. Loss of our dreams, loss of our sense of our future. For some, loss of meaning, loss of structure, loss of turf, if you have to move out of your house and it has to be demolished. This is a profound impact. It's like a type of bereavement, and it's important to bear that in mind and to understand that because you're having experiences of stress or the losses associated with the impact of the trauma that is Mica, it does not mean that you're ill. It means that you're experiencing the stressors. There are many strategies that we can use for self-care. We can learn to talk to people. We can learn to get support. We can improve our diet. We can improve our exercise. We can develop self-care and self-support strategies that help us. Pay attention to your eating, your sleeping, your use of social media, which can be really helpful. But at times when we're experiencing trauma or crisis, social media can be as much of an activator as it is a support. The other is to pay attention to how much you need to talk about what's happening to you. It is important that you are heard and that you feel that your experience is validated. But likewise, the more we talk about the impact of a crisis or a trauma, sometimes it reactivates us and it makes our symptoms worse. So pay attention to how much you are impacted by the symptoms. We call these normal reactions to a set of abnormal events. It's the events that are abnormal, not our reactions. And that's important when we're affected by a crisis or by a trauma. There are supports. Those supports are available in the community, And this recording is part of those supports. If you feel you need additional supports than those that might be available through Inside Inishowen, through the informal networks that you have, through your family, your friends, through exercise, then do speak to your doctor. You can be signposted to other listening ear and other supports that help you to sit down and talk about the impact if you need to do so in a safe space. Thank you for watching this short recording, and we do hope that it offers part of the supports and that you find it helpful. My name is Breda Friel, and I look forward to speaking to you again in some of our other recordings.